He's a monster. He's balling this year. He always does. Khalil Mack getting set to face the team that traded him away last season, prior to last season, actually. And here is Mack on this matchup with the Raiders over in London.
Khalil, you see, you want to make this just another game, but do you have to repress feelings of kind of vindictiveness and getting back at the Raiders for treating you the way you did, or do you, in your heart of hearts,
I like that word.
In your heart of hearts, do you really feel like it's just another game?
That's the whole point, man. You can't play this game with too much emotion, man. Ultimately, I try to stay focused on the task at hand, of understanding the situation, understanding what they're going to be thinking I feel. But ultimately, I'm going to go out there and do what I do, and that's play football and love the game that I play.
So there might be feelings deep in your heart that you just can't let get to the surface? Is that what
Absolutely, absolutely. There's feelings that you suppress, but also it's no big deal to me, man. I'm here. I love the Bears, and we're going to go out and try to get this win.
It's time for some big deal or no big deal. I hang on to every word Khalil Mack says always because he's very quiet, doesn't say much, and when he does, it always sort of means something. This is a guy that we have seen barrel through 4 grown men on the field. Big deal or no big deal, Khalil Mack is out for revenge against the Raiders.
I love me some Khalil Mack. Every time I watch him, he looks like he's something straight out the 80s, Jack. I'm going with the big deal, and I feel like revenge is a dish best served cold. And when you're traded away because the team doesn't want to fully commit to you financially, your heart is cold. And I know people are saying, oh, woe is the player that makes $1 million. But it does mean something to a guy who commits himself, gives everything he can on the field, and makes your defense the best version it could be by playing out of his mind, and then you don't give him the cash for it. So I'm going to say this is a big deal, and my man is going to play big.
I'm going to go big deal also, and I think about John Gruden. John Gruden got to Oakland, and the first thing he did was like, well, we're not paying Khalil Mack big money. Let's trade him. Well, we're not going to pay him that much money.
Didn't even call him. Remember,
there
never had a
no phone calls, no nothing, and Gruden was so steadfast in this plan to build for the future. And then in the next offseason signs Vontaze Burfict and Richie Incognito. And
how's that going?
Yeah, and has Doug Martin on the team, and like whoever else is an old veteran who's been 13 other places and wants a shot here. But Khalil Mack, a former 4th overall pick, who we took and we invested in and is already going to be was already a defensive player of the year at the time, is not worth it. So big deal. Shame on you, John Gruden. I'm going to go get you, and I'm going to make you think about it on that entire long trip. Not just a trip back from London, but a trip back from London, and then you guys aren't home again until about November. You're going to think about it then, too. I think big deal.
But, Peter, don't you think Derek's like, I didn't do anything. Like, why am I going to get in trouble for anything?
Put your running shoes on,
I didn't trade you.
Sorry, it had nothing to do with him.
Got a contract.
Prime position, young guy, dream in the locker room, everything going.
Nothing off the field.
Nothing.
Bring in Burfict, please. We need Antonio Brown instead.
Shout out to Sandy.
Big deal?
You are right, Kate. Shout out to Sandy. He chooses his words carefully. He was talking after this last game, about not getting too excited early in the season, and it's a long haul. And Khalil Mack's quote was, "A dog that poops fast don't poop for long." That was his poetry on that, meaning like you want to take your time with it, basically. We can all relate to that. But I'm going to go with the real big. Most importantly, because there's one thing stopping Khalil Mack between him and Derek Carr, and it is Trent Brown. Guys, we go back to the summer. The 3 of you were away. We did a weird Good Morning Football show with me, Tiffany, Mike, D'Angelo, and look how big Trent Brown is. You can tell because Mike, the consummate pro, is putting a finger up to the ceiling because he's tall.
He's so tall.
6'8", 380.
I love this photo.
The highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history. That man between us is the guy who's going to stop Khalil. Is he going to do it? Hell no, he's not going to do it. I don't care if he's 9'5", he's not going to. But I go big. At least they have the largest possible object in front of them as possible.
That's true. Knowing what we know about Nagy and what he does at the goal line and how he likes to get guys involved. Remember we read that story about how he goes and he knocks on the defensive guy's door and says, "Hey, Akeem Hicks," and then
it's your turn.
Your turn to be involved on the offense. Does Nagy give a little something to him at the goal line
that would be something.
That would be great.
The Mack package?
Oh, that's fascinating.
I want the Mack package.
I think they should, Kay.
Big Mack package.
Do that for him?
Yeah, and listen, they're rotating quarterbacks around. Why not? Try it.
Oh, he's real crafty at the goal line. Stay tuned for that. Sticking in the NFC North, the Vikings haven't had trouble running the ball this season, but when it comes to their pass game, they've been unsuccessful getting the ball in the hands of their star receivers. Here's quarterback Kirk Cousins on the Vikings struggles. You got to hear this.
I really want to apologize to him because there's too many opportunities where we could have hit him on Sunday. And post-game, when I talk to the media, I always say, hey, until I watch the film, it's hard for me to really give you a straight answer. Well, now it's Tuesday night. I've watched the film. And the reality is there were opportunities for him. The one that's most obvious is the 3rd and 10 at the beginning of the game. We're near midfield. That's arguably 7 points. If you put the ball where it needs to be, he's shown, number 19 shown that he will make that play. And he'll probably finish the play in the end zone and pull away from the defender. Adam's not just a really good player or one of the best players on the Vikings. He's one of the best players in the NFL, one of the best players in the world, period, regardless of position. And so, we want to, we need to, and when I say we, really, I mean I need to get him more opportunities, get him the football.
So that was Kirk Cousins after Adam Thielen talked about getting the ball and throwing the ball deep sometimes. And let's be honest, the numbers for Thielen and Diggs are way down from where they were through the 4 games last season. These are 2,000-yard receivers in an offense that we knew was going to turn and try to establish the run. Big deal or no big deal, it's week 5 and Cousins is already publicly apologizing to his receiving core.
I would say big deal. And this is in a good way, though. And I emphasize the deal because Kirk Cousins, he got a big deal, right? Which means the pressure and expectations are high. The 2 wide receivers, Diggs and Thielen, they also got deals. Pressure, expectations are high. But here's the deal. When you're a QB, you always take the blame. You never shift it. And let this be a lesson to some of you young quarterbacks out there. Kyler Murray, early in the season, he came out and said, listen, we all had some mistakes. We all got to be better. Forget the we stuff. The way that Kirk Cousins is handling it, that's the way you handle it as a quarterback. The way that Eli has handled it over his career, that's the way you deal with things. You apologize, you let your playmakers know, I got you.
I respect it. I think he made the right move in the public because you don't want to go down a road where you're Roethlisberger saying, I wish I would have thrown it to Juju because AB needs, and then the thing completely comes derailed. We're only in week 5. I will say this. I wonder how Kirk is behind closed doors and if he has any dog in him about, look, I'll get you the ball. Do you know what I was dealing with on Sunday? Let's watch the film. This one where you're wide open. Look what I'm doing in the pocket. I'm getting my helmet blasted off by Khalil Mack. I'll get you the ball. Don't worry about it. But publicly, he handled it right.
I'm torn on this one because I want it both ways. I want my quarterback to have a dog in him. I want him to be Aaron Rodgers and to never apologize. How dare you question me? I'm Kirk Cousins. I'm the quarterback. Adam Thielen, you're going to go on a post-game press conference in front of reporters and question me? But that's not authentic. That's not who Kirk Cousins is.
Right.
I always want authenticity.
Maybe he hasn't earned that, Shreyas.
And well, maybe he hasn't. But the bottom line is Cousins is doing what is him. He is a guy who's going to apologize. He is going to lay it out on the line and say that was my bad. I respect him for it. But the fact that we're in week 5, and already we're down this road with the Vikings offense yet again for what feels like the 10th out of 11th year, whether it be Teddy Bridgewater or Sam Bradford, and here we are again. Already the offense is sputtering. That's a big deal as well.
Let's say he handled it well. It's still sort of just a Band-Aid because if this is going to be effective long-term, he's got to actually get them the ball, right?
Yeah, no,
if he apologizes and says, I need to get them more involved, and he's publicly saying that for everyone to hear, like, okay, squeaky wheel gets the grease. Adam Thielen better ball out this week, right?
No doubt about it. Now, offensive line better hold up.
They're coming
Vikings
to
at Giants.
MetLife to take on the Giants. So Will Self is out in the newsroom in Culver City this morning with all the headlines.
Hey.
What's going on? Hey, Will.
Hey, what's going on there, fam? Happy Wednesday to all of you and everybody who's watching us this morning. And for 5 of the past 6 seasons, the NFC West belonged to either the Rams or Seahawks. This season, at least in the very early going, and we know it's the early going, both teams are looking up at the 49ers entering Week 5, keeping in mind the Niners are coming off a bye and will host the Browns on Monday night. Now, on Thursday night, Big Bad Aaron Donald is visiting the Emerald City, and he's coming for quarterback Russell Wilson. Donald has 10.5 sacks and 28 QB hits on Wilson in his career, the most against any opposing QB. Wilson knows what he'll be up against tomorrow.
Well, I think Aaron is, he disrupts the games just because, one, obviously his sacks and things that he can get to the quarterback and everything else. But I think that you have to always have an eye on him because, he's Aaron Donald. He can make a lot of plays, So, it's like when you watch basketball, you see certain guys. You see LeBron James of the world, Steph Curry of the world. He's one of those players. You see Leonard, so certain guys, you got to know where they are and what they're doing and how they're playing. So he's one of those, that's for sure.
Absolutely he is. Meanwhile, the Panthers defensive unit suffering a major blow as lineman K'Wan Short will miss the rest of the season. The team placing him on season-ending injured reserve after tearing his rotator cuff in week 2. He's expected to be ready for the 2020 season following surgery and rehab. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin saying running back James Conner and defensive lineman Cam Hayward will be limited during practice this week after suffering injuries in Monday night's win over the Bengals. They both ended up finishing the game. Hayward, by the way, recording his 9th game with 2+ sacks since 2016. That ranks second in the NFL, only to Aaron Donald, who has 10. So we started with Aaron Donald. We'll end with Aaron Donald. We are just getting started here on Good Morning Football. Still ahead, where are Kay and the guys? Well, the costume closet is being raided as we speak.